I'm the General Manager of medical recruitment or health recruitment through Mercury. But for my other duties in life, I'm the Chair of Balan Health Service and also the Chair of the Grampians Alliance, and actively work throughout the health industry for over 40 years.
The question out the gate, I'm going to aim towards Lynn to kick us off. Lynn, how early in the piece should engagement be thought about?
Keeping good people and attracting good people actually starts pretty much from the time you put the ad in the newspaper or start the program of trying to attract your best staff. Now, in order to do this, of course, you're not just looking for the active people, you're looking for the passive people, and that is very much a specialised area of tracking down the good people. When I say good people, what you started this conversation off about is very, very interesting because, and later on we may talk about it a bit, the candidates that are out there are very, very selective. So the process that you go through is incredibly important about educating them about yourself as an organisation, your brand, but also your professionalism as an organisation. So don't for 1 minute think that the moment you start a recruitment process or attracting staff to your organisation, you're actually starting to sell yourself and brand yourself as an organisation that someone wants to come and work for. Because there is a hit list out there with candidates of organisations they don't want to work for, and you don't want to be on it. So we'll talk about some of that a bit later. So basically it starts from the very beginning.
Good. And I think, you know, employee benefit programs are, you know, are a huge... Who said salary packaging? We don't say salary packaging anymore. So employee benefit programs, and a great turn of language, you know, absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure, Lynn, you find getting candidates from non-health industry sectors and verticals into health, you know, the ability, the benefits that they get within health through the benefits programs, you know, allow you to pull them into those industries.
It's actually one of the first 5 questions.
Yeah.
That candidates ask, whether it's public, private, not-for-profit, what's the salary packaging benefits? Because the majority of candidates realise that they're not going to be at the highest brackets of income earning, but the benefits and the satisfaction of working in the environment are what they're looking for. So it's an element. It's most definitely an element of consideration for any young or long-term employee of the organisation. In actual fact, a little while ago the government tried to take it away from certain areas within the industry, and there was an enormous backlash, I would say, that, you know, that they would actually close down some industries without it.
Art and science, you know. As a recruiter for 20 years, I know the value of being a good recruiter, and but I also know the value of automating some technology.
Yes, absolutely. What we started off talking about here was engagement, and everything that we've said here, I think, reinforces that the quality of your workforce and the people that you engage ultimately will be the outcome for the services you provide. They will be the people that stand in the front of the organisation and deliver. But one of the things that really becomes apparent when you recruit people is that there is a process, a technology involved, and you know, the standards are you need to do a police check, you need to do a fraud check, you need to do a bankruptcy check, you need to ensure that any references that you undertake are legally undertaken and that they're documented, and the person giving those reference checks knows that they're making a legal statement. There's very good candidates out there in the marketplace who will go through a process and get to the end of it and say, thanks very much for putting me through that process, I absolutely enjoyed it, but no, I'm not going to accept the position. Even if it's offered, I'm not going to accept the position. And why is that? It's purely because they haven't enjoyed the journey that they've gone along from the organisational point of view. When I started off saying this, and it's really, really important to say this, that Candidates are wanting to work with organisations that they feel aligned to, their values, we've talked about that before, but they feel are ethical organisations, they're organisations that care about what they're delivering, but very importantly care about their staff. Their staff are valued, appreciated, they are engaged in everything. So communication, even at the point of start when you're interviewing for candidates or potential staff, is really important. Sell yourself. Tell your candidates what you stand for, what your organisation is standing for, what their goals for the future. What are they? Be proud of them, because they're playing more and more a big part in the decision-making process of quality candidates. It's a competitive market. There are limited resources of quality staff out there, and everyone's trying to attract them. I cannot tell you the number of times organisations have rang up and said, look, we can't do it, but can you approach this candidate silently and see if they're interested in coming on board, right? It's because they themselves have identified a candidate. They can't tap them on the shoulder themselves, it's not the done thing in the industry, but they'll use every mechanism they can to attract them.
That's how I ended up at my last job.
Yeah. So all I'm trying to say there is that there is a hit list, and I mentioned that at the start. The candidates come in and they say to you, not who, you expect them saying this is who I want to work for. What they're saying is, we won't work for this organisation. We know what they do to their staff. We know what their record is out in the industry. Please don't consider us for those organisations. So you yourself as an organisation, your brand, who you are, how you market yourself, how you promote yourself is incredibly important. This industry is a small industry. We all know the bad things that are going on, right? And sometimes we forget to talk about the great things that are going on. And I think that's the important thing when you as an employer are trying to attract good staff. When someone has made the decision to resign and leave an organisation, your opportunity is to sit down with them and have a really good, open, frank discussion about what was their time like working with the organisation, what they liked, what they didn't like, and why did they make the decision to leave, right? You'd be amazed at the feedback that you get when you ask that question. But the most important thing from that is once that interview is finished, you've got all your information, you feed that information back through your senior people, your senior staff. The good things, great, the bad things, and your culture of doing this is really important. And that's something I forgot to say before, is that the culture of an organisation gets out of an organisation a lot faster than you realise what it is inside the organisation. Okay, so that's where the communication link comes within the industry. So at an exit interview, you've got an organisational, questionnaire in front of you, really, where you can ask them serious questions and get a feeling for it. Now, if you get 5 or 6 people leaving your organisation all saying the same thing, then you've got some good things happening or you've got some really bad things happening. And that's what's going to prevent the top people, the best people in the industry wanting to come and work for you. And the performance issue that you were talking about, that is really, really important. Most people sitting in this room have been through the process themselves. They know some organisations do it because they have to do it, and the people going through the process know that's the case. But when an organisation does it really well, they've really got engagement from their employees, and that's really important as well. But the exit interview, very, very important.
Good.
I have, for as long as I've been working in health, thought the whole performance appraisal system is just something. We tick a box because someone in accreditation says you've got to do it. So our leadership team is currently trying to look through a different way of doing performance appraisals. I would love to hear where's some innovation and where can we go to actually find out more information. Number one, we need to throw out the name and rebrand it. But number two, as a CEO, the only thing I really want to know is I've got the right staff in the right place at the right time. And for the rest of my staff, I want to develop them. So where do I go to find how to do this really well?
Sitting down and ticking the boxes is not the way to go. What is the way to go, though, and this is what's been discussed across a lot of HR professionals, is the opportunity to sit down and have a discussion, right, and discuss performance. All right, if you're performance managing somebody, you don't wait till your performance review to do that. That's already been done. All right, but what you are wanting to do is find out how they're feeling. Are they engaged with the organisation, and what you as an organisation can do to help them get better, right? That's the conversation that's going on. So the paper-based or IT-based platforms are very much in doubt at the moment in the moving forward, but the discussion is still very much on the table.
So we're going to call it performance immediately scares people.
They haven't actually come up with a title as yet. I mean, there's quite a few. I'm on LinkedIn and talking to people in the UK and Germany. They're all going through the same thing of getting rid of the rigid profile, but a lot of them are talking about just it's our time for a discussion is one name that's come up.
Pulse check.
Yeah. And take that bad vibe about it, because everyone walks in a performance review thinking they're going to get, a bad time, not necessarily a good time.